Just as women deserve protection from cruelty and violence, men too are entitled to the same safeguards under the law. Yes, this is what the Delhi High Court has ruled in its latest order dated January 22, 2025. While rejecting the anticipatory bail to a wife who was charged for domestic violence against her husband, Justice Swarnakanta Sharma of the Delhi High Court also firmly rejected the grounds for bail where the accused wife had begged for leniency basis her gender. This is a case where a wife was seeking anticipatory bail after allegedly causing burn injuries by pouring boiling water mixed with chili powder on her husband. So what was this case all about? Suraj and Jyoti got married on February 14, 2024 and they were living in a rented accommodation in Delhi. On 1st of January 2025 at around 3 a.m., a gentleman named Vishal Singh, who is the landlord for the couple, made an emergency call to the police after he heard his tenant Suraj shouting for help. While the victim's face, chest, neck were all burnt, his wife Jyoti was missing and not present at home at that point in time. The landlord also witnessed the couple's 3-month-old minor child crying in the same room. So what had exactly happened? The police investigation revealed that the accused wife had poured boiling water mixed with red chili powder on the victim husband. Suraj in his statement informed the police that Jyoti had attacked him while he was sleeping. Thereafter, she locked the room from outside to ensure that he will not receive any medical aid and had fled from the spot. She had also left the 3-month-old daughter in the same room. Not just locking him up after causing injuries and running away, but Jyoti also took away Suraj's mobile phone along with her so that he would not be able to contact anybody. Now let us understand what was the trigger for domestic violence against this husband. Suraj informed police that few days before this incident, he had discovered certain documentary proof against his wife, how she had been making several false rape complaints against multiple persons. When he confronted her, asked her what is all this, she threatened him of dire consequences just before that incident in question. 4 days before the incident, that is on 27 December 2024, Suraj even went and filed a complaint against his wife Jyoti, and this infuriated her to a great extent. On 31st December night, the couple had a fight where Jyoti threatened her husband, saying, "Main tujhe dekh lungi, I will show you." And when Suraj went off to sleep at around 10 p.m., she attacked him within a few hours while he was asleep. Accordingly, then an FIR was registered against the wife for the commission of offences punishable under sections 110, 351 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Now let us understand what is the version of all people involved in this case. Let us understand the submission of husband first. According to Suraj, his wife was upset with him since just 4 days before the alleged incident, he had lodged a police complaint against her. Suraj in his FIR, which was registered on 27th of December, he stated that one day when he returned from work, he found his mother-in-law had come home and she had also got one girl child with her who was around 2 years of age. The mother-in-law then informed Suraj that this girl child was the daughter of Jyoti from her previous husband. Suraj was now shocked to learn about this since Jyoti had concealed from him the details of a previous marriage and a child from that marriage. Now, Suraj also informed that he had come across certain documents and photographs which pointed out that his wife had been in a relationship with at least 9 to 10 other persons. She was married 3 to 4 times at least earlier, and she had also filed cases under section 376 of the IPC, that is rape, against some of them. Thus, when Suraj confronted his wife with all these facts, she threatened to kill him. Now let's understand the submission made by the assistant public prosecutor. According to him, the injuries which have been sustained by the victim were all documented in the MLC, which is the medico-legal case, and that pointed out that the applicant, that is the wife in this case, had all intentions to kill the husband. The public prosecutor also confirmed that the IO, that is the investigation officer, had informed him about the 2 separate FIRs of rape that the wife had filed against 2 separate persons. On the other hand, what was the defense of the wife? The learned counsel who appeared for the wife argued that this was a false case to implicate the wife, and in fact, she herself was a victim of domestic violence since marriage at the hands of her husband. The wife in her defense also stated that on the night of 31st December, her husband was the one who was talking to some other girls, which had led to a quarrel between her and the victim. Now, while playing the blame game, the wife was actually unable to address the court regarding the injuries that were sustained by the husband, and categorically, the counsel for the wife stated that he did not know as to how the victim had sustained those injuries. But since an FIR was lodged against the wife, she had approached Delhi High Court seeking anticipatory bail. Now let's understand what the Delhi High Court has said in its detailed judgment. Justice Swarnakanta Sharma of the Delhi High Court has analyzed all aspects of this case. Initially, the High Court observed the MLC, which revealed that the victim had indeed suffered injuries on his eyes, nose, and particularly on his shoulder, neck, arms, and chest. During the course of the arguments, the High Court also noted the contents of those two FIRs, the rape FIRs that had been registered by the wife at different police stations in Delhi. And this is what had led to the husband filing his initial complaint, which was registered on 27 December. The husband had also put forward certain documents, photographs of the accused wife's previous marriage, which according to him were never disclosed to him. Now, amidst all this, Justice Sharma was also amazed to note that despite the severity of the offence, the wife had advanced an argument before the court that since she is a woman and wife of the victim who had suffered torture by him, she should be treated with leniency. On the other hand, the High Court observed that the accused wife had no explanation whatsoever against the evidences and arguments made by the husband with regards his injuries. Calling for gender neutrality in domestic violence cases, Justice Sharma added a detailed note saying that the facts and circumstances of the present case brings forth gender biases, whether hidden, conscious or unconscious, which are undeniable reality and not mere fiction of the mind. Such biases, rooted in societal perceptions, cultural conditioning, or even individual assumptions, often find their way into arguments advanced before the courts, where leniency is sought solely on the basis of the accuser's gender. However, it is the duty of the judiciary to maintain vigilance and ensure the decisions are not influenced by such biases where the law or judicial proceedings specifically do not provide. Justice Sharma also added that the pain, trauma, and damage resulting from such injuries are the same irrespective of the victim's gender. Therefore, it would amount to perversity of justice if, in case where a woman causes such grievous injuries to a man, she is treated with leniency solely on account of her gender, despite the seriousness of the offence. The High Court even went further and stated that, let's assume if the genders were reversed in this case, would there have been any leniency shown to the husband whatsoever? Justice Sharma did not stop here. She even went on to add that the notion that in marital relationships only women suffer physical and mental cruelty without exception, that may be contrary to the hard realities of life in many cases. She even said that the courts cannot adjudicate cases before them on the basis of these stereotypes. Justice Sharma also added that the empowerment of one gender and protection to it cannot come at the cost of fairness towards the other. She said that just as women deserve protection from cruelty and violence, men too are entitled to the same safeguards under the law. She even went ahead and added as elaborately as possible on the challenges faced by married men within the confines of the matrimonial home. Her judgment quoted that this case also highlights a broader societal challenge. Men who are victims of violence at the hands of their wives often face unique difficulties, including societal belief and the stigma associated with it, being perceived as a victim because he's a man. Such stereotypes perpetuate the erroneous belief that men cannot suffer any violence in domestic relationships. She said that thus the courts must recognize the need for a gender-neutral approach to all such cases by ensuring that men and women are treated alike. Accordingly, the Delhi High Court rejected the wife's plea for anticipatory bail and instructed her to join the investigation. Now, what is our take in this whole case? According to Section 437 of the IPC, which is now read as Section 480 of the BNSS, a person who is under the age of 16 or who is a woman or who is sick and infirm can be granted bail in cases even if it's a non-bailable offence. Thus, this is a brilliant order from the Delhi High Court where Justice Sharma has detailed out biases not just against the men, but also the mindset and approach that the judges need to take in all such cases, irrespective of the gender of the accused. Currently, India does not legally recognize domestic violence against men, and thus most often when a husband approaches the police to file an FIR against his wife and in-laws, he is returned, he's told, "Ye aapke ghar ka mamla hai, this is your domestic problem." Now, fortunately, in this case, the husband who was injured, he could get an MLC done on time and he could secure certain evidences of this attack. But in most cases where husbands face minor scuffles, daily verbal humiliation and abuse, it becomes impossible to prove any allegation against the wife, and the only option that men have in such situations is to file a civil case for divorce. I would also go to the extent of saying that filing an FIR by a husband in itself is a very subjective situation, and it is totally dependent on who is the police officer attending to your case. So let's say, unlike where cases have to be mandatorily registered if a wife goes and files a complaint, either with or without a medical report, it is a huge struggle for married men to even seek their first basic steps for their honor, which is registration of a police complaint against their own wives. Having said so, I believe firmly that the current Delhi High Court judgment gives ample hope for many, many men who have actually given up on the words justice and equity. I'm leaving the entire Delhi High Court judgment in the description link of this video. Please do read this judgment. It's a very good judgment that has come after a long time. And a lot of men who are going through similar situations can also use this judgment perhaps in their cases. It is also available on our website, voiceformenindia.com. So if you missed this video, it's always available there as well. You can hit the bell icon and subscribe to Voice for Men India so that you can be updated as in how we broadcast our new video. And please follow us on our social media handles, which is either Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, X. There are a lot of stories and real life situations that we upload over there on a daily basis. The ID is @VoiceForMenIn. Please do share these instances with people around you so that, because most of us don't speak about these situations, but it's always nice to share these stories for people to understand the ground realities of gender bias and anti-men laws in India. That's it from me as of now in this case. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste. Jai Hind.